Okay, so in my last video, I brought up this point because in his first segment, he brought up the college thing, and I assumed that we glanced over it, but no, he didn't bring it up until now. So I'll play it.
And race-conscious admissions as taking race as one of the factors whether or not you're going to admit a student. And we noticed that when race-conscious admissions was out of it, black enrollment dropped 64% at UC Berkeley. And that is an act of systemic racism, trying to look at people's races and allow them into colleges whether or not they're of a set race is racist.
But what he doesn't see, this is, I feel like this also applies with the systemic racism thing. Like, this is such a, notice how easy it was for them to correct that. You know, it's similar to the immigration thing. Again, he can't see how embedded in like what we're talking about is, like how integral it is to our laws. It's not just this surface level like policy about no immigrants allowed, or we're going to accept more people, things like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not that surface level. It's not that where it's like easily, let's reverse the policy. Let's reverse the policy. But I do get what he's saying. Like, it's a rule that affects and discriminate. We'll say the word discriminate, but it gives it certain advantages to one group based on race, and he's right to see that, and it does. But it's correcting for something. First of all, even if you want to disagree with that, even if you disagree with that's what it's actually doing, it's still let's just take the accusations for what they are. You're accusing a thing that is meant. It's like whenever you're kids with somebody, and and I get maybe this may not be a good example. This is a horrible analogy, but like, somebody hits you and then you hit them back. It's like you hit them, but it was force. It was, at the very least, you can say that you shouldn't have done that. It was messed up, but at the very least, it is two different things. Like, somebody hit you first, you are retaliating. And so this is kind of the same deal. Like, even if you disagree that the kid shouldn't hurt back, or the college shouldn't do that, at the very least, they're making up for something. This is not at all even comparable to like what redlining was, where it was literally just done out of pure racism, and like they wanted to create an underclass. It's different. It's like totally different. And even if anyway, but I do want to agree. Like, it's a stupid attempt at making up for it. I'm with you there. So I wouldn't agree, and it is like unfair. Like, that is. It's just not the right way of going about it. And I don't know too much. I don't want to get into real specifics here about like college admissions, because I don't know how all that stuff really goes down 1,000%. But I can see the same things you're seeing, and I'm with you there. This is a kind of a dumb point though. He's talking about. I'll just play it.
Owens, he's a representative out of Utah. He's a black Republican representative. He called out the MIT president for having black-only dormitories. I mean, what does that mean? Why are we trying to segregate each other and say that black people feel safer amongst black people, when the truth is they're actually more in danger?
Dude, what advantage does that give them? Actually, I'd agree. Like, and I've never met anybody like this, so maybe they're actually great people, but I don't know. Like, it is a little weird, that they're having like black only. I don't know why you'd even. I don't know. I don't even want to comment on that. I feel like it's not even my place. But like, this is not comparable. Like, these examples he's pulling up are just not at all comparable to like Jim Crow laws and black codes. Not at all. Like, what are you talking about? And 250 years of slavery and redlining. Are we serious? Like, how do you even get to this position? It's whatever. How many times has he brought this up about black people killing each other? I'm telling you, he does not like black people. He, like, dude, just ignore the fact that it actually helps my case. Ignore that. Why do you think that it's such a like nail in the coffin against systemic racism? Look, black people actually suck. They're not victims. They're actually the ones causing victims and making people victims. That's his line of thinking right now. They're not victims. They're making other people victims. They're making each other victims. We're only victims because of each other. Like, that's the way he's thinking right now. It's so stupid. Like, actually, you're an idiot, and you're either an idiot. Like, I'm so emotional about this right now because of what I feel. I think that he's really doing it because he does not. He just doesn't like black people, and I understand he's black too. But that is a very common, just I don't know what do you call it? It's not psychological phenomenon, but I guess psychological phenomenon. Anyway, hey, what do they call it? I just thought it wasn't actually. I wasn't thinking of this, but this kind of gives you the same vibe. Uncle Tom's. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's that type of dude. Black men rapping about it. I don't like rap. I don't like how my peers listen to rap music. I think I'm morally superior to them because they listen to rap music and I don't.
As a people, we should try to get more Ben Carson.
It's savagery. It's barbaric. We need more. This is the second time he said it. We need more Ben Carsons and more Matt Nuclears. We need more of us. We need less of these other guys. These you know who. I'm not gonna say it. That's like, come on, bro. No arguments. Like, he's just coming up here and complaining the whole freaking time. He's just stay in your Israel Palestine. You know what you're talking about with Israel and Palestine. I feel like I can't actually really judge it as much because I know nearly. It's kind of like we're the opposite, And this is where I know my stuff. But like, he's just coming up here and complaining and trying to about other black people and subtly just letting everyone know how superior he thinks he is than everyone else. We need more Ben Carsons. I guarantee you he sees himself as like a Ben Carson, duplicate or whatever, even if he doesn't actually think of it in those terms. I'm the same type of guy. I'm going to stand up. I'm better than these guys. I made it out. Stop it. You're not any better. And like, even if systemic racism did exist, like, you're not any better because of how you are. It would just be that you're how I would see it, because as I said in the last video, I don't believe in free will anyway. Every way that every person is, I don't really see a lot of I congratulate people and treat them as if they made the situation of themselves. They whatever, but I don't really actually see it that way. Where whatever situation you're in, if it's good or bad, like, we're just human. Like, that's just where you are. So you're not better than anyone else. No one sees you. No one who knows anything about anything. Like, congrats. You don't kill people. Congrats. You don't rob and steal and shoot. Do you want a cookie now? Like, genuinely, that's what he wants, to be rewarded for not being like those other guys. Hold on, bro. I forgot about this. I gotta back this up. This may be the dumbest thing he said the entire freaking 2 hour or however long, hour and 14 minutes. Hold on. And I guess it wasn't him always up there, but let me go back.
Said that slaves were immigrants.
Well, they were brought here to the United States, and many of them were slaves, and we know that to be a fact.
What is the difference between someone
Instead of just disagreeing with Ben Carson like he should have done right there, he should just be like, well, I don't agree with that. Instead, he immediately hops on Ben Carson's cock. This actually validates what I was saying earlier about he probably sees himself that way, because he just immediately starts glazing like, well, he's actually right. Are you serious? This is like so crazy of a point. Hold on, let me go to the regular speed, because they talk pretty quickly. So they were brought to the United States, and many of them were slaves. Hold on, let me pause this and get my. Okay, so Ben Carson says that slaves were immigrants.
Well, they were brought here to the United States, and many of them were slaves, and we know that to be a fact.
The way his mind is working right now is immigrants originated from outside of the country. Slaves originated from outside of the country. They're the same. Like, bro, this is actually so crazy. He is trying so hard to justify it, bro. Just like, this is, bro, go watch his TikToks. He does the same stuff all the time, literally all the time, where the stuff he says makes no sense, but he will, oh my gosh, bro. Let me just keep playing it, bro.
What is the difference between someone being an immigrant and being a stolen person?
I mean, I understand that many people were stolen here, but 90% of historians agree that slavery would have not been possible if black slave owners within Africa didn't sell off their people. White people.
What does that have to do with anything? This was what I was thinking about earlier when I was saying there's going to be another thing that he talks about where it's like that really made me think, because this has no, and I didn't even recognize what he was doing yet. I wasn't paying full attention when I was like listening to this on my way here to make this video. The 90% of that has nothing to do, like, he is trying to make this point. The reason he memorized this statistic before is because this is what a lot of them do. They're like, well, again, because they just see what's right in front of them, and they're like, if black people made another black person, it's similar to his thinking on black crime, where he's like, look, the slave was the victim, and technically, in a certain way, the other black person was also the person who made them a victim, so the perpetrator. And so since the black person was the perpetrator, then it can't be white supremacy. I mean, it can't be systemic racism. How stupid do you have to be to... It literally has no bearing what color or if the Africans gave up or what. That literally has absolutely nothing to do. How could it have anything to do with it? That's the only connection, is the fact that they're black and and they're not white. So that's the only connection. What, again, how does that have anything to do with Jim Crow? How does that have anything to do with redlining and property values and anything I said in the first video about how, prisons, and keep the prisons out of it if you want to, but the prisons have an incentive to make sure that the education system stays worse so they can have more it's basically slave labor. And I watched this TikTok, and he made the point, well, you shouldn't go anyway. Dude, oh my gosh. It's not just the fact that, like, well, slave labor is happening. There's an incentive to keep the education system worse off, so that you will end up creating more people who benefit that and who go to prison and who... How about this? If you're fine with them, doing the slave labor in the prisons or whatever, well, just think about the victims, okay? How about that? Like I said in the last video, it does affect me too. Think about victims of crimes that those black people that end up going to prison will end up affecting. The more incentive the prisons have to create those incidents, the more victims there will be. So if that's how you want to think of it, then think of it in that way. And this is what I'm talking about with her. This is not, she should have said these things that I'm saying, and she doesn't. She just tries to disagree with him. And she's like, they didn't do that. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Let's see, slave merchants in Africa sold indentured servants who were brought. Yes, but that doesn't mean she falls to the same line of reasoning where it's like, well, a black person, that's why she didn't push back on the black on black crime thing. Because you're an idiot. Like, I'm sorry to say it. I just got to say it at this point. Like, that should be obvious. That it doesn't really matter if the black people sold them into slavery in Africa. That has no effect. That's not even what we're talking about. You're just trying to justify your racism. It's really weird how he is racist towards his own race. Like, he is just saying, like, well, look, these black people were bad. Look, black people, it's actually white people who are the victims. That's their line of reasoning right now. That's the only connection. It's so crazy. Hey, look, look, the Arabs did that. See, he knows his stuff. He knows his stuff on Israel Palestine. Like, of course, he found a way to bring up Arabs. Like, if anything, the fact that the Africans sold their own people, like, that makes it even worse. I feel like on the conscience, at least for the time, that would have no bearing on today. Of course, I want that to be clear. That's not what I'm saying. But for the people of the time, and maybe their children or something, just on their conscience, that would weigh a lot worse, because they know that their own people sold them into slavery. It has nothing to do with the current effects of said systems. Like, regardless of if it was voluntary or non-voluntary by their families, hopefully I've explained it by now, dude. Like, anyway, this is a great point right here. Earlier in the video, he said something about, he was like, I don't feel systemic racism. Saying, conservatives, they have this feeling, they really, as for those people who love facts over feelings, they really care about their feelings a lot. Same thing with the economy. It feels like it's worse under Biden right now. It feels like everything sucks, right? Everything, and it was worse on it. But anyway, this guy right here, he just said, like, look at us, look, it's biological. Look, I'm looking at us right now. Look, we have different traits and things. Race is still not a biological. Race is a social construct. Like, I'm not even finna go in and like waste my time talking about this. Just look it up, dude. What are they? Are people lying? Are people just lying so that they can justify their evil, systemic racism accusations or something? And like, I don't know, but he's just trying to argue because it's a point that liberals hold, and so they don't like it. He did confirm there's a black community where he lived. Maybe I might be onto something, but he did say he lived in Maine. I don't know. I don't know anything about Maine. I just know that Maine is like, I think Maine is like the number one white population. I don't know. This is another, this is the closest thing to a point he's made the whole time. It's about these like BLM protesters. These Republicans get so caught up in like culture politics and different, he said, she said, and well, your guy versus my guy and stuff. Dude, give me a break. Like, if the BLM rioters did X, I don't care. Like, if I disagree with it, then I disagree with it. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't devalue the argument against systemic racism. It just means that people are being a little too rowdy about and working in a non-effective manner. That's even better. Like, they're not really being as effective about it as they could be. That's what that would mean. That doesn't, oh wait, these people are violent. Oh wait, I must be wrong. Like, this is so annoying how these guys do.
Black American, as the daughter of an immigrant.
She's just, I don't know. I know I've talked about her enough, but like, she's talking about, you're not American, and like cutting them off. This was not a good representation. But yeah, he did not make a singular good point this entire time, and I actually feel really good now that this has been made. I'm sure he'll train himself, and he'll know more facts about whatever, and try and justify it in better ways in the future. But at least for now, you only have your racism to stand on.